The scope for what we did here is an interchange project. It was a $25.5 million job that we did for VDOT. Replaced 2 bridges and redid the interchanges at 10th Street and Courthouse Road. Beforehand, the median was just concrete and a hillside with trees, and that was all built up for the added acceleration lanes on the eastbound side.
It's very unusual for a civil heavy highway project to be noted for aesthetics. So we want to point this out beforehand so when you go and see it, you'll recognize the difference.
Picture of us pouring the bridge deck on the bridge you see out here for Courthouse Road. This was all done over live traffic, and it was all done in one pour. It was 175 yards poured within 4 hours, and everything had to be perfect 2 grade. VDOT checks all their bridge decks for perfect flatness. Both bridges were each done over 1 weekend. To minimize the impacts of the travel, we shut down westbound Route 50 just to make sure everybody would be safe while we're tearing them down. Aside from the 2 weekend closures for the bridge demolitions, everything was done under traffic, so traffic flow was consistent through the whole project. Flippo had over 30 crew members on site for most of the job. We had over 115,000 man hours in this for self-performed work on concrete, maintenance of traffic. And we also had 20 subcontractors that we had to coordinate, and we made a big push and completed $1.3 million of this work in the last month in order to meet a deadline for VDOT. All right, so our main obstacle out here was the traffic, the maintenance of traffic, and then the main thing, the traffic. So it was a major hurdle that we overcame, and we did it. The maintenance of traffic is one of the most injury-prone and accident-prone things out here, and we didn't have any lost time accidents while we were out here maintaining traffic for the 3 years that we were out here. So what we did is we worked with VDOT and we demoed the old bridge, built a new one, and had it open back up to traffic in 7 months. And also all the steel grill work that you'll see, that was all custom fabricated to the bridges. We had to go out under traffic and as-built the girders after all the concrete was poured so that they would match exactly. There's, over the whole span of the bridge, there's a 2-inch margin of error. They came up with all different ways to keep pouring concrete. We poured concrete straight through the winter. These crews worked their butt off to get this thing done.
Basically, this project is built over 395 tunnel. The entire structure, it had to be excavated all the way to the top of the tunnel. Then we have to waterproof the tunnel, which is 60 years old. Then we had to put the dirt back in there and start building our foundations. We had to consider vibrations and all that, the weight of the glass and the star pool and the fountain. But these glasses were built on a solid footings. If you see that, there's about 3 feet thick and also about the length of the panels. And each panel of the glass are about 1,800 pounds. It consists of 5 pieces of glass which were laminated together. And before we can erect these glasses, we had to put stainless steel shoes on top of the footing, which each shoes were 4 foot long, and they had to take 10 anchor bolts drilled to foundation to accept the load and the wind load of the glass. And we had to do a mock-up and do the test on the glass that for Category 2 hurricane, about 90 miles an hour wind, to make sure they stand the high wind. The process of erection was very important, how we're going to take them out of crate, where we're going to stage them to limit the duration of the erection. Basically, it was a great process, and also the most important part of our project was if you go in there, on the glass there's the words and pictures. We had to make sure every one of them matches, they're lined up, because each individual glass was different. So these were our challenges, because none of these glass were made exactly. This was provided to us, and we had to make sure we shim them up and down, and this was very difficult to get them all lined up. And also when you get to that picture, that figure, we had to make sure all the lines get same so the image doesn't get, if you look at it, you can see all the lines are lined up when two panels had to meet.
From start to finish, the job took us like 35 weeks. The first pod that we turned over took 12 weeks to turn over. And after we turned that over, we turned over another pod every 2 weeks after that. Till pod 10, then we turned them over 1 week at a time. They've got two 2.5 megawatt generators for each pod and a 3 kW generator for a catcher for backup. Some of the challenges we had on the job were once the site, storing all the material, getting the material to the site, and moving the material out of the laydown areas. And after the other sites started to develop a little bit on the other side of the building, we lost laydown area and parking, so we had everybody park off-site. It's the largest data center that the customer has, and it's probably one of the largest, if not the largest, in the United States.